Texas is 3-1, and they're looking really good. But is there any move on the offensive end that can make Texas better? B. Ross, you've looked at the offense. You've thought about this. What offensive positional changes would you make right now? Because I have at least a few on my mind.
I wouldn't make first off, I wouldn't make too many changes up front. Like you want to keep the continuity because O-line is all about communication, being on the same page. Like I get it, you want to put the best five out there, but you can't be rotating guys mid-game. Yep. Like that's not where you want your offensive line to be at this stage of the season. But the first change is I have to find my gadget guy, my guy who he comes in the game and he commands attention where the defense is kind of pointing him out. Oh, he's moving, he's Neblet. Get him on the field, move him around, and just because honestly, if you give him enough jet sweeps and screens, he will become a decoy. But we have to create explosives with him. But I think he's a chess piece. If utilized correctly, he could you have to spend a day just in meetings talking about, okay, when he aligns here, they've done this. When he motions, to me, he's a guy with his long speed. He's a guy that defenses have to account for. And with that being said, when you put more speed on the field, now Wingo, I don't think can get double downfield. You know what I mean? Like to me, more speed opens up more one-on-one opportunities for what I think should be our number one receiver. And that's what I'm all about is like pushing the ball downfield, getting that guy the ball. But I think Neblet in space can be a problem, but we just have to utilize him correctly. And running back, just I don't know because I don't know who's healthy. We haven't played quality opponents, and the O-line play has been very, very inconsistent to this point. So I do think we need to keep rotating the backs and keep guys fresh as possible, and utilize our receivers and our quarterback in the run game so that we can take some wear and tear off of our backs. But overall, I don't think it's too many big changes. I think we need to maybe play more guys in just roles that we can help our offense open things up a little bit.
So I have two freshmen that I want to see get more reps on the field. You talked about Ryan Niblett. I'm going to talk about Dalen McCutcheon. I'm a big fan of what I've seen from McCutcheon.
I like McCutcheon.
He's more of a slot guy, but I think you can use McCutcheon in some ways, kind of like what you talked about with Niblett as sort of this gadget guy. Let him do some things with a screen pass. Let him do some like what you talked about, the gadget things, just things to create more creativity. And more than anything, you're just looking for somebody that can distract the eyes of a corner or a linebacker. Exactly. Make you look one way, we're to go the other way. Or maybe you think we're going to go do the opposite, but we're actually just going to hand the ball off to him or something like that. So you talked Ryan Niblett. I 100% agree. I want to see more of him because he is like juice in a bottle. But McCutcheon as well has some really good athleticism, and he gives me the vibes of like a really solid slot receiver that is just super shifty and nimble and able to cut on a dime. I want to see more of McCutcheon. And then I also want to see more of James Simon, not as a RB1. That's Trey Wisner. RB2, the CJ Baxter. And I've liked what I've seen from Gibson and from Christian Clark. I think those guys have potential and talent. I think in the future, those guys will just get better and better. James Simon looks like he might be our third best running back. And maybe it's a little too early to say. We haven't seen him go up against SEC opponents. But in the time we've seen James Simon play, he just pushes the pile. He looks like somebody that just understands it, right? He just gets it. Jarrett Gibson has some issues with the fumbles, which are, if we can't trust you to hold the rock, that's tough. Now, he hasn't had too many issues this year, but he's had issues in the past. Christian Clark, he gives you a vibe here and there that he's really understanding it, but then occasionally you'll watch the All-22 and, he should cut it outside. He cuts inside, or he'll cut inside.
That's a very good point. His vision at times is, I'm like, what are you looking at?
He's a young player.
It's inside zone, and he's looking to bounce the ball, or he's so worried about fumbling. He's running through the lane. Like, give yourself the chance to build up speed. And he's running with two hands on the ball,
100%. Yeah, he's playing like a a young player, redshirt
He
freshman. So
is. He is.
I think there's a lot of room for him to grow. But James Simon, just from the small sample size I've seen of him, he looks like he understands it. He knows how to use tempo, how to be patient in the backfield, wait for the hole to open up. And when that hole does open up, hit the hole super hard. And then the second that contact goes on you, two hands on the football, push the pile as far as you can. James Simon has done that. He's not going to beat out Trey. He's not going to beat out CJ. Those are your two RB1/2 or RBA, RBB. Those are your two guys.
Right.
Those are your superstars,
Right.
especially. But while we're waiting for Baxter to get healthy, and Trey also has his fair share of injury concerns, I think James Simon should be somebody you give the rock to quite a bit. Now, he is only a freshman, so you do worry a little bit about, is he strong enough to go up against SEC defensive linemen or linebackers, and will he fumble the ball and have those issues? So that might be why you give Jarrett Gibson more opportunities, because he's at least have some experience. So we'll see about it. But I like what I've seen from James Simon. I think he could easily take over that role as RB3 or RB2 in the meanwhile while we wait for CJ Baxter. Really quickly, we've talked about this offensive line a little bit, and I do agree with you. I don't think we should mess around too much with it. But if you are you looking at that left guard and center position with Connor Stroh and Cole Hudson, who I know Cole Hudson's been injured lately, but do you think about maybe moving to a Neto as a starter at left guard? Or do you maybe start to look at Connor Robertson a little bit more? What are your thoughts on that? I generally think that we should stick with Hudson and Stroh, but if they throw Neto out there, I'd be interested in that.
I mean, I don't like too much because it's a rhythm thing when you're playing up front. Like, you got to get into your rhythm of, okay, when I work with this guy, this is how he likes this combo block. Because granted, everyone's kind of taught the same, but because of ability, size, length, strength, it changes person to person in terms of working double team, especially when we're running a lot more power and a lot more inside zone. And it's doubles at the point of attack. They have to, in order for the play to work, those two guys, the left guard center, right guard center, they have to be on the same page for most of these plays to hit. So part of me says, see what they have, but at the same time, it's kind of too late. We're about to start SEC play. If anybody who wasn't starting, if they haven't shown enough going into this Florida week, I don't think you change it. I think you work with what you have, unless it's horrendously bad. Guys falling on the ground, missing blocks, messing up the protection. Then yes, make a change. But right now, I think guys are struggling because we're not playing and we're not cohesive. Ohio State was our best week running the ball. Bar none. That O-line looked the most efficient and just all in all, they look cohesive. They looked like they knew everything was going on. They were creating great push, great vertical push. You know how hard it is to push, guys who are going to be playing on Sunday, and they're pushing them upfield 4 or 5 yards. Whereas then we play San Jose State, UTEP, and Sam Houston and we're getting a little vertical push, couple seams here and there. So what's the difference? And to me, it's the fact that now guys are kind of playing timid because they don't want to be taken out. They're not playing as aggressive because they know they're in a rotation, or they know they're not going to play with the same guy. So all in all, I would probably not change anything. I would stick with what you have, especially at center, because
that's communication snaps. That's
quarterback. Yeah. That's imperative. The quarterback and center, they are the ones who have the protection calls. So we want the guy with Arch who knows what he's doing first off, and they have a good relationship just in terms of, okay, I'm calling lasso to the left, but you see the nickel coming. Okay, I trust you as the quarterback to say, you take it, call it, and so I can handle about throwing the ball versus blitz that's coming. So I'm a big fan of chemistry, so I wouldn't change too much.
Yeah, and the other thing too, you talked about it. If you have a Connor Stroh, and if you're like Trevor Gooseby and you have to do a double team, Connor Stroh's 6'7", 340. So you start to learn how to work with him. If you throw Neto out there who's 6'4", I think he's 330 or so, who's a little bit lighter and might be a bit of a different player, that obviously makes life a little bit more difficult for a Gooseby who's playing very well. I want to talk about Emmett Mosley real quick. He's coming back from an injury. We have not seen him yet, so it's very difficult to think about where he fits in this offense. Right now, let's assume he returns for the Florida game because he was close to returning these past couple weeks, but Texas held him out. It looks like he'll be returning either Florida or the game after Oklahoma. Where do you see Emmett Mosley fitting in, especially when you talk about Sarkisian really liking these really tight receiver rotations? Or do you think he fits in at all?
He definitely fits in because he's talented. Like, let's put that out.
Very talented. Yeah.
Like, the kid can play ball. But I do think it'll be, again, like, the more talent you have on the field, the more true one-on-ones you can create in critical situations. So when I say that, all I mean is on third down, a lot of teams in third and, let's say, 6 or less, you're seeing a lot of man coverage. And if guys can't win without the play caller getting them open, then that's an issue. I think Emmett Mosley is a guy who can play in the slot. He can play outside. He can win numerous ways because of his route running ability and his speed, quickness. Like, just he's a good receiver, and he complements Parker and Wingo well to me. Like, just in terms of body type and the way he plays. So I think he does have a place. How they use him will be interesting because, like, Florida doesn't have a slack defense. Like Florida's pretty good on defense. Oklahoma's pretty good on defense. So how they use him to get him going will be more interesting than anything because he's going to have to, get into some sort of a rhythm initially. But I do think he has his place. It's just I'm not sure where or how he gets done.
Yeah, because I was thinking about it because Sark has always been very tight with his receiver rotations. I mean, when we had A.D. Mitchell and Worthy, it was Worthy, Mitchell, and Jordan Whittington. I mean, Jonte Cook would come in a player or two here and there, but it was just those three mostly. You see that Wingo, Livingstone, and DeAndre Moore have Sarkisian's trust.
Yep.
I think Dalen McCutcheon will get a couple reps here and there, but maybe 7 or 8 snaps a game. Same thing with like a Ryan Nibbett, might only get 4 or 5. Yeah. I wonder if maybe Mosley fits into that opposite outside receiver to a Wingo or Livingstone, so where you can rotate him in occasionally. So you have DeAndre Moore primarily in the slot where he's really good. He's reliable. Wingo can be your gadget guy too, but he's typically an outside wide receiver. Same with Parker Livingstone. Right. I wonder if you say when Livingstone's out there, you have him in certain packages, but then in other packages, maybe Mosley can step in there because Mosley's a very talented player with a big frame, 6'2", I think 205, 210 pounds, something along those lines. And he can win downfield. He can win 50-50s. He's a solid route runner too. So I wonder what his fit is because he's not the athlete that Wingo is, and I don't think he has the connection that Livingstone has with Arch. I don't think he has that yet. So I just sort of think right now, if you had to guess, how many snaps do you think he gets? Let's say Texas plays 70 snaps on offense or 60 or whatever it might be.
So the issue is, and I was thinking about this when you asked about the personnel, is we've been playing a lot more 12 personnel because I think Sark is more comfortable with the rotation of tight ends than the rotation of receivers. In my personal opinion, like watching how we dwindled down the snap count of 11 personnel and the snap count of 12 personnel and 13 personnel, he is throwing out Nick Townsend, Jordan Washington, Jack injuries. Like, granted, I don't think they're getting the targets that those receivers would get, but we're seeing so much 12. I'm sitting there like, well, I don't think the question is if it's the receiver combination that we need to worry about. It's a matter of which room does he kind of trust, or what is he trying to do, just in terms of spreading the ball around? Because I think a guy like Nick Townsend could be a matchup nightmare.
I agree.
Like he's a vertical seam guy who can catch the ball, athletic downfield. So you put a safety on him, you put a linebacker on him. You know what I mean? Like you can do a little more just in terms of messing with the personnel of the defense, because now it's like, okay, do you play nickel? Oh, you got a small little nickel in? Oh, that's fine. Let's run the ball. Oh, you got a big nickel in? This safety better be able to cover. So I think the question is, which room is more dependable, down in and down out, more so than anything, because the receiver room is talented, but like up to this point, what have they really done to like really earn it? To earn those snaps or like earn the ball. Like Mosley, to answer your question though, I think out of 70 snaps, I think the range is between 15 and 25, somewhere in there comfortably.
I was thinking 10 to 18 or so. That's 15 kind of feels like the sweet spot in my opinion.
And like I was thinking that because I was thinking more just because I think he'll be in, go in motion, and then run the ball.
Now, question on him. Do you think he could be like, and I hate to, maybe diminish his role to this. Do you think that he could just be not simply used as this, but be a part of like a screen package as like a primary blocker because of his size for like a Ryan Wingo or Livingstone?
I think he will be.
Yeah.
Because
just to get him on the field.
Yeah. I mean, that and like, because to your point, like he's a big dude. Like on the perimeter, he's a big guy. So like to your point, he'll be great in that role. And to your other point, you said it earlier, he can win those 50-50 balls. So now, not necessarily like beating someone with speed or to me, you give him more packages in the red zone. And you say, let's just throw a back shoulder fade. Let's throw a slant, big body slant, box out. You know what I mean? So he has a role. And I think Sark knows what he wants to do with him. I don't think, and that's why I think he hasn't played. I don't think he hasn't played because he's not healthy. I think they've seen enough in practice where they're like, okay, we can hold him out. We don't necessarily need him. He knows what to do. He knows how to do it. He has a connection with Arch in some manner. But why put him out there versus UTEP or Sam Houston? And it's like, granted, your first game is versus Florida, so it's tough. But now you have unscouted looks. So where now,
and packages as well.
Exactly. So now they have a different, like when they're during the game plan, they're like, okay, he hasn't been. This is the only week of playing. This is what they did with him, not knowing that he has 3 weeks worth of stuff that he wants to do with this kid in different situations, different areas of the field with different people on the field. So I think, again, I think he has a role, but only the mad scientist Steve Sarkisian knows what he really wants to do with him.
All right, guys. You guys let us know in the comments below. What do you guys think? Any personnel changes you guys would make? Maybe receiver, running back? Let us know in the comments.